Imagine you're standing at the base of a mountain. You can see the peak far above, covered in mist, unreachable at first glance. That peak is your goal. Most people start climbing without a plan, without proper gear, without even checking the weather. They're driven by enthusiasm in the beginning, but within a few hours, the energy fades, the terrain becomes rough, and they give up. The truth is, goals are not achieved by passion alone. They are achieved by clarity. Before you take a single step toward that mountain, you need to know why you're climbing it in the first place. Without clarity, no system in the world will save you. Clarity is not just about saying, I want to lose weight, or I want to grow my business. Clarity is deeper than that. It's the story behind the goal. Why does it matter to you? What will it change in your life or in the lives of others? When your why is strong, the how becomes far less complicated. A system is not just a set of rules. It is the bridge between intention and reality, and it must be rooted in purpose. Think of it like building a house. You don't start with the paint color or the furniture. You start with the blueprint. The blueprint tells you what you're creating, and then the workers can set the foundation. That blueprint is your clarity. Once you know it, every step you take makes sense. Without it, you're just hammering nails into wood, hoping something useful comes out of it. The mistake many of us make is confusing activity with progress. We chase after goals that are blurry, and we create systems that don't serve us. We write endless to-do lists. We buy planners. We download productivity apps. But none of that works unless the direction is clear. It's like running fast in the wrong direction. It doesn't matter how efficient you are if you don't know where you're headed. Clarity creates energy. It creates alignment. When you are clear, you no longer need to rely on bursts of motivation to keep going. You build a system that reflects the goal because you know what the goal actually means. And once that clarity is in place, the mountain no longer looks impossible. It simply looks like a climb you're prepared to make. The first step in building systems that achieve goals is not to design the system itself. It's to step back and understand what you truly want and why. Because when clarity becomes the foundation, every system you build will carry you forward step by step until one day you look up and realize you've reached the peak. We live in a world obsessed with outcomes. We celebrate the person who crosses the finish line, the one who holds the trophy, the one who shows off the before and after photo. But here's the irony. Those outcomes are just snapshots, moments in time. They don't tell the real story. The real story is written in the quiet, invisible hours of process. The truth is anyone can set a goal, but only those who fall in love with the process ever achieve it. Think about a musician. The standing ovation at a concert is the outcome, but the outcome doesn't happen without the endless hours of practice when no one is watching. The same notes played again and again until they become muscle memory. That's the process. Or consider an athlete. Winning a medal may seem like the goal, but the system is the early mornings, the strict diet, the discipline in training. Even on the motivation is nowhere to be found. The finish line exists because the process was honored, not skipped. The problem with chasing only outcomes is that they create pressure without progress. You tell yourself, I want to lose 10 pounds. Every day you step on the scale, and if the number hasn't moved, you feel like a failure. But what if the goal was simply to walk every evening, to eat one more vegetable each day, to build a consistent routine? Suddenly, progress is measured not by the final number, but by the daily actions you can control. And here's the beauty: when you focus on the process, the outcome eventually takes care of itself. The reason most people quit halfway is because the outcome feels too far away. It's like staring at the peak of the mountain without paying attention to the path beneath your feet. The climb becomes overwhelming, and you convince yourself it's impossible. But when you focus on the process, one step, then another, the climb doesn't feel impossible anymore. It becomes manageable, even enjoyable. There's something liberating about shifting your attention from what do I want to achieve to what system will I follow every day. It gives you control. It makes the journey sustainable. And it removes the illusion that success is some magical event. Success is never an event. It's a pattern repeated long enough that results become unavoidable. So, if you truly want to achieve your goals, stop obsessing over the trophy. Stop staring at the scale. Stop worrying about how far you still have to go. Instead, design a process that makes progress inevitable, and then commit to it. The outcome will come not because you chased it, but because you respected the process enough to let it lead you there. Motivation is like a spark. It's exciting, it's bright, and it makes you feel like you can conquer the world. But sparks don't last. They fade as quickly as they appear. Relying on motivation to achieve your goals is like relying on the weather to decide if you'll go to work. If it rains, you'll stay home. If the sun shines, you'll show up. That's not how goals are achieved. Goals are achieved through consistency, and consistency comes from building systems that work even when you don't feel like working. Think about brushing your teeth. You don't wake up every morning overflowing with excitement to stand in front of the mirror, toothpaste in hand. Yet you do it. Why? Because the system is already in place. It's not dependent on whether you're inspired. It's a habit so ingrained that it requires no decision, no debate. Imagine if you could design your goals in the same way. Actions so automatic that you no longer negotiate with yourself about whether to do them. The problem is most people wait to feel ready. They say, I'll start when I have more energy, more time, more inspiration. But readiness is a lie. If you wait for motivation, you'll spend your life waiting. The people who achieve great things are not necessarily more inspired. They are more consistent. They design systems that remove friction, reduce decision making, and make the right choice the easy choice. Consider a writer who dreams of finishing a book. If they wait for inspiration, they may write a few brilliant pages in bursts. But the book will never be finished. The consistent writer, however, sits down every morning at 7 a.m., no matter how they feel. Most days, the words may be ordinary. But over months, those pages stack up, and eventually, a manuscript appears. Consistency beats motivation every single time. The same applies to health, business, relationships, everything. Systems built for consistency are stronger than any surge of enthusiasm. You don't go to the gym only when you feel motivated. You go because it's Tuesday, and that's what your system says you do. You don't save money only when you feel disciplined. You automate the transfer so the system saves it for you. When you replace motivation with consistency, something remarkable happens. Progress becomes predictable. You stop riding the emotional roller coaster of highs and lows. The actions may feel small, but their repetition compounds into something extraordinary. So stop waiting for the spark. Build a system that keeps the fire alive. Because motivation may get you started, but only consistency will take you across the finish line. Most of us measure the wrong things. We set a goal, and then We obsess over the end result. We want more money, so we stare at the bank account. We want to get fit, so we fixate on the number on the scale. We want to grow as leaders, so we watch for recognition or applause. But here's the problem: outcomes don't move on their own. They are the lagging indicators of behaviors. If you only measure results, you will always feel behind. The real power lies in measuring what actually drives progress, the things you can control every single day. Think about a farmer. The farmer doesn't spend every morning pulling at the crops to see if they've grown taller. Growth takes time. What the farmer measures instead is the work that feeds the growth, the water, the sunlight, the soil, the care. Because when those things are in place, the outcome takes care of itself. The same principle applies to any goal. If you want a healthier body, measure the meals you cook, the steps you take, the hours you sleep, not just the weight on the scale. If you want financial freedom, track your saving habits, your spending choices, and your investments, not just the total in your account. This shift is more than practical, it's psychological. When you measure what matters, you give yourself proof that progress is happening, even if the big outcome still feels far away. Every time you tick off a behavior, you reinforce your identity as someone who follows through. And over time, those small wins build the confidence and momentum to keep going. The mistake so many people make is chasing after numbers without creating the feedback loops that tell them whether they're actually moving forward. Imagine a pilot flying a plane without looking at the dashboard. The destination may be set, but without feedback, the risk of drifting off course is inevitable. Your systems need feedback. They need measurements that tell you not just where you are, but whether your actions are aligned with where you want to go. It's easy to become discouraged when results don't show up right away. But when you measure the process, the reps you complete, the calls you make, the pages you write, you start to see progress everywhere. And that progress, no matter how small, keeps you moving. So if you truly want to achieve your goals, stop asking, how far am I from the finish line? Start asking, am I doing the things today that will carry me there tomorrow? Because what gets measured gets repeated. Just repeated. And what gets repeated eventually transforms into the results you've been chasing all along. Most people think success is a straight line. You set a goal, you build a system, and you follow it step by step until you arrive at the finish line. But life doesn't work that way. Life interrupts. Plans collapse. Circumstances change. The system you built with such care suddenly feels broken, and that's when most people quit. They assume the failure of the system means they themselves have failed. But the truth is, every system will eventually need adjusting. The people who actually achieve their goals aren't the ones who never stumble. They are the ones who adapt instead of abandoning the climb. Think about a sailor at sea. The destination is fixed, but the wind shifts constantly. No sailor expects the wind to always blow in their favor. They adjust the sails. Sometimes progress is fast, sometimes it's painfully slow, but as long as the sails are adjusted, the ship keeps moving forward. Systems are no different. They are designed not to be perfect, but to give you direction. And when the conditions of your life shift, you don't throw away the system, you refine it. The problem is, many of us confuse flexibility with weakness. We tell ourselves, if I change the plan, I'm failing. But rigid systems break under pressure. Flexible systems bend and adapt. A diet that doesn't allow for a single celebration meal won't last. A business plan that can't evolve with the market won't survive. A routine so strict that one missed day ruins your momentum will eventually collapse. Success is not about perfection. It's about persistence. And persistence is only possible when adaptation is built into the system. Think of it this way: if your goal is to write every day and one morning you miss, the rigid thinker says, I've ruined it, I failed. The adaptive thinker says, I missed today, so I'll write twice tomorrow. One mindset abandons, the other adapts. Over time, the difference between the two determines who actually finishes the book. Adaptation also keeps goals relevant. What you wanted 5 years ago may not be what you want today. Stubbornly chasing an outdated dream can drain your energy and leave you unfulfilled. Systems should serve you, not enslave you. Adjusting them is not quitting. It's aligning them with who you are becoming. So when your system breaks, don't throw it away. Look at what still works, refine what doesn't, and keep moving. Because achieving goals is not about building a flawless plan. It's about building a flexible one. The people who reach the peak aren't those who never stumble. They are the ones who learn to adjust their steps and keep climbing no matter what storms come their way.